All right, today we're diving deep into a fascinating and, yeah, let's be honest, a sometimes unsettling hidden world. It's a world that exists all around us, and sometimes even inside of us. We're going to pull back the curtain on parasitology and uncover some really surprising ways these tiny organisms can impact our health.
And I'm guessing you're asking the same question I was. Parasites? And teeth? I mean, what could the connection possibly be? Well, that's the exact mystery we're going to unravel today. And trust me, by the end of this, you might see your next dental checkup in a whole new light. Okay, so before we can get to that surprising connection, we first need to get to know the invaders themselves. What exactly are we talking about when we say parasite? And what are the main types we should know?
At its heart, medical parasitology is all about studying organisms that live in or on a host. But here's the absolute key to the whole thing. They get their food at the host's expense. This is not a win-win situation. It's a one-way street where the parasite gets all the benefits, and the host is the one that pays the price. From a medical standpoint, these invaders fall into three main buckets. First, you've got the protozoa. These are the tiny, single-celled opportunists. Then you have the helminths, which are the worms we usually think of, everything from tiny pinworms to massive tapeworms. And finally, you have the arthropods, the bloodsuckers like ticks and mosquitoes that basically act as taxis for other diseases. And here you can really get a sense of the incredible difference in scale. I mean, on one side, you have the world of protozoa, totally microscopic, single-celled little guys. And on the other, you've got the helminths, which are complex, multicellular animals. We're talking about a jump from something you can't see at all to something you definitely can. It's just wild. But figuring out what's what isn't just about their size or what they look like. One of the most basic ways to classify them is simply based on where they decide to set up shop. And the difference is pretty simple, but really, really important. You've got your ectoparasites, ecto meaning outside, who live on the surface of their host, and then you have your endoparasites, endo for inside, who live deep within the host's body. And that one simple difference, inside versus outside, means they have completely different game plans for survival. So let's talk about those ectoparasites. You definitely know some of these guys. Ticks, fleas, lice. They're the ones that hang out on the outside, feed on us, and cause all sorts of irritation. But their most dangerous job is often acting as vectors, or as I like to call them, biological taxis, just shuttling other nasty pathogens from one person to the next. Now, for the endoparasites living inside us, their lifestyles get pretty interesting. You've got the obligate ones. These guys are the ultimate specialists. They absolutely have to have a host to survive. No host, no life. Then there are the facultative ones. Think of them as freelancers. They can live out in the open, but if an opportunity to be a parasite comes along, they'll take it. Sometimes a parasite just messes up and infects the wrong host by mistake. We call that an accidental parasite. And then there's the really creepy one, wandering parasites. These are lost larvae that just start migrating through the body, ending up in bizarre places and causing damage you'd never expect. Okay, so now that we've met the players, let's get into their playbook. How do they navigate these incredibly complex lives? And what are their specific strategies for actually causing harm? For a parasite, the host is everything. It's the whole world. I mean, think about it. The host is a living house, a fully stocked pantry, and the perfect, safe place to raise a family. It's an all-inclusive resort. Some parasites keep it simple with just one host, but many have what's called an indirect life cycle, and it's like this perfectly timed biological relay race. It needs at least two different hosts. First, there's the intermediate host. That's like a pit stop where the parasite larva grows up but doesn't become a full adult. Then it gets passed to the definitive host. That's the final destination where the adult parasite can finally reproduce and complete the whole cycle. Okay, so they live these complicated lives, but how do they actually make us sick? It's often way more sophisticated than just stealing a bit of our food. Their methods can be surprisingly destructive. The damage they do is incredibly varied. Sometimes it's pure brute force, what we call mechanical effects, where a big ball of worms can literally block your intestines.
They can cause nutrient deprivation, like hookworms that latch on and just drain you of blood, leading to anemia. Some produce actual poisons, toxic effects that damage our cells. And sometimes the worst damage comes from our own body's reaction, an allergic effect, where our immune system goes haywire trying to fight the invader.
To get a picture of what mechanical damage looks like, just listen to this. The larval stage of a certain tapeworm can form a cyst inside an organ, like your liver, and that cyst can grow to be 1 to 2 liters in volume. That's the size of a big soda bottle. Just imagine the sheer physical pressure of that, crushing all the vital tissues around it. It's an incredible example of harm just by being there.
Okay, it's time. Time for the big reveal. We've explored this wild, hidden world. Now let's circle all the way back to that question we started with. What on earth does any of this have to do with your teeth?
So here it is. The connection really works in 2 major ways. First, your mouth can be a window to the rest of your body. Sometimes things that show up in your mouth, like sores or other changes, can be an early warning sign of a bigger parasitic infection happening somewhere else. And second, and this is the crazy part, some protozoa can literally move in and live right there in the plaque on your teeth. Yeah, you heard that right. It's incredible. Studies have actually found 2 specific species of protozoa in Tamoeba gingivalis and Trichomonas tenax that can live in our dental plaque. This happens especially when someone's oral hygiene isn't great. We're talking about actual parasites making a home in your mouth.
But, and this is a really, really important but, even though they're there, their actual role is still pretty unclear. For the most part, they're considered harmless saprophytes. Now, what that means is they're not really attacking our healthy tissue. They're more like scavengers, feeding on the bacteria and junk that's already in the plaque. So their presence isn't the cause of the problem, it's more like a symptom that an unhealthy environment already exists. So if these little guys in our mouths aren't the main enemy, why does any of this matter at the dentist? Well, because it all points back to one of the most fundamental rules in healthcare, standard infection control. The idea is simple. You don't try to guess who's infectious. You just treat every situation as if it could be. This universal approach, sterilizing tools, wearing gloves and masks, it creates a powerful shield against everything, bacteria, viruses, and, yep, even the odd parasite.
So what's the big picture here? What's the final lesson we can take from all this? It's that our health isn't just a collection of separate parts. It's a deeply, deeply interconnected system.
This dive into parasitology shows this amazing hidden web connecting a specialized field of science directly to our dental health. It's such a powerful reminder that our bodies are these complex, interconnected ecosystems. And it leaves us with a pretty cool question to think about. What other fields that seem totally unrelated might actually hold important clues to our health? The world is just full of these hidden connections if we only know where to look. Thanks for joining me.